I'm David Ainsworth, Head of Communications at the United Nations Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity. In today's Substa 26 Biodiversity Beat interview, we're talking with Amelia Arreguin of the CBD Women's Caucus. Amelia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, David, for having me.
So, the Biodiversity Plan has got roles for women and girls. So why is it important that women and girls are involved in the implementation of the Biodiversity Plan?
Well, I can think of many reasons, but let's be concise. And I think that perhaps one of the main reasons is because biodiversity laws highly affect them in a differentiated way. So they should be enabled to be part of the solution of to prevent that biodiversity loss hitting them hard, right? And apart from those impacts, also because they have unique roles, they have unique knowledge, because of the gendered roles they have learned, and they have linked or relate to biodiversity in multiple ways, different, not necessarily better or not necessarily worse, but different than men, right? So all people need to be allowed or enabled to participate in the implementation of the plan, because then we will be able to achieve it fully, right? We have more people, we have more minds, more knowledge, different, that can complement each other, so we reach the 2030 with all targets achieved.
We know that in addition to the involvement of everyone, there's an importance of a gender-responsive approach. Can you talk more about that?
Yes, and that is a really good question, because when people think about women, gender and biodiversity, they think that it can be solved as having women participating, no? Like, let's women to speak, let's women to say something or consult them, and that's how we engage them, right? But it's go beyond that, because it means that you have to transform institutions, mechanisms for a setup that actually allows women to, or women's needs to be addressed. So perhaps one concrete action could be gender disaggregated collection of data, right? How do you know how to address, or what do they need, or how to reach them if you don't know where they are? How are they contributing? How are they being impacted? So first action for a gender responsive approach is sex disaggregated data. Then you already know what is going on, but then how do I address that situation and I change it for positively? Then you need the gender budgeting, right? Nothing is gonna happen if there is no resources to make it happen. And those resources is not the same as you say, oh, we're gonna allocate 1 million euros for restoration. But if you say 1 million euros that have to take into account the use that women make of the forest, no, that take into account that women still have access to, or that prioritizes the species that women use for the medicine or the food of the nutrition. No? It's just to look into the detail and allocate the money, particularly for those kind of initiatives that will take care of the women's priorities.
So let's talk a little bit now about the ways that the CBD Women's Caucus engages. Tell us a little bit how they engage in this process, but also I'm interested and fascinated to know, as we get down to the national level, how does it work there as well?
Yeah, I think perhaps I could start just sharing briefly about what is the CBD Women's Caucus, right? As potentially people know that in the UN processes, usually normal people, we have the opportunity to come to the negotiations, international negotiations, to advocate or voice normal people priorities in the policy spheres, no? And we are organized in constituencies, or we are organized in major groups. We have the indigenous peoples and local communities group, we have the youth group, and we also have the women's group, where people that make part of women's organizations, feminist movements and so on, to come together and provide that view into whichever topic is being discussed within the UN system. And that is the case of the CBD. The CBD also has its own constituencies, like these rights holders groups that come and bring those priorities and keep watching what the decision makers are doing and discussing. That is kind of the main role of the CBD Women's Caucus, to bring the gender perspective, the gender provisions into the Biodiversity Convention discussions at the global level. But our members that are grassroots women, that are academic women, civil society women, They also make part and participate in the national processes. They have their own initiatives, they have their own hands-on projects. So as we see it is that these women that are aware of the biodiversity plan, they can make a lot of support in the socialization, in the implementation, in participating in the national policies, in the hands-on projects at the local level.
So talk to us about the involvement of the CBD Women's Caucus and women at the level of the NBSAP process.
Yes, I think that this is particularly one element where we can see how Target 23 has been embraced, because as soon as the regional dialogues started or the update process of the NBSAPs started, the Secretariat, the countries, and different actors are really aware that women have to be in the table and giving their priorities and their views into the NBSAP updates. So far there have been 6-7 subnational, sub-regional dialogues to share views, experiences, challenges, opportunities to update the NBSAPs. And members of the CBD Women's Caucus have been there present in the MENA region, in Latin America, in Southeast Asia, in different women from those regions have attended those events to advocate for the particular and contextual needs that they see that have to be addressed in the NBSAPs, but also at the national level in Philippines, in Argentina, in Mexico, in Kenya. Members of the CBD Women's Caucus have been able to do the follow-up, right? They were there during the discussion of the post-2020, the GBF, the Biodiversity Plan now, and they can bring all their knowledge and views into what has to be in the NBSAPs, no? Like, because they know the whole framework, so they can bring the gender perspective into the NBSAPs updated.
Great, excellent. Well, thanks for taking time to speak to us. I know you're really busy. You'll be in these negotiating sessions for a few more days and beyond. Great. Yeah. So we'll see you at COP16.
Hopefully, yes. And more women from all around the world. Please, if you're interested to voice your rights, voice your priorities, join the CBD Women's Caucus, and we hopefully see you in COP16. Yes. Thank you.